Okay, so as we continue with semiotics, let's talk about um, the Pioneer 10 and 11. These were space probes that were first human-built objects to leave our solar system. And this was Pioneer 10 was in 1972, and Pioneer 11 was in 1973. But the funny thing is they were both equipped with a pictorial message on the off chance that somewhere along the way it would be intercepted by an intelligent, scientifically educated being. And the art historian Ernst Gombrich offers an insightful commentary on this. These beings would first of all have to be equipped with receivers among their sense organs that would respond to the same band of electromagnetic waves that our eyes do. And even if that unlikely case, they could not possibly get the message. Reading this image, like the reception of any other message, is dependent on prior knowledge of possibilities. We can only recognize what we know. And here's kind of a close-up of that plaque. So think about what you see. What is an icon? What is an index? What is a symbol here? So if we break it down, this first is a schematic representation of a hyperfine transition of hydrogen, which is the most abundant element in the universe. And below the symbol is a little small vertical line to represent the binary digit 1. And that represents this spin-flip transition of a hydrogen atom from an electron state, spin up to an electron state, spin down, that can specify a unit of length or a wavelength, as well as a unit of time or frequency. Both units are used as measurements in the other symbols. The illustration here of the naked figures can't be separated in our mind from our knowledge. We know what feet are for standing, we know that eyes are for looking, and we project this knowledge onto these configurations, which would look like nothing on Earth without prior information. But it is this information alone that enables us to separate the code from the message. We see which of the lines are intended as contours, and we see what's intended as modeling. Aliens could see the figures possibly as wireframes with like loose bits and pieces hovering weightlessly in between. And if they even did decipher this aspect of the code, what would they think of the woman's right hand or arm that tapers off like a flamingo's neck behind her leg there? Behind them, they're drawn to scale against an outline of a spacecraft, but if the recipients are supposed to understand foreshortening, they might also expect to see perspective and conceive the craft as being further back, which would make the scale of the humans very small. So as for the fact that the man has his right hand raised in greeting, the female, she's just sitting there looking less outgoing, but not even an earthly, Chinese or Indian person would be able to correctly interpret this gesture from their own repertoire. The representation of humans is also accompanied by a chart here, a pattern of lines beside the figures standing for the 14 pulsars of the Milky Way. And this is designed to locate the sun of our universe. And here at the bottom, the second drawing, which how would they even know it was part of the same chart? It shows the Earth and the other planets in relation to the sun, and the path of the Pioneer from Earth as it swings past Jupiter. The trajectory is endowed with a directional arrowhead. So it seems they've also escaped the designer's mind that this conventional symbol would be unknown to a race that never had the equivalent of bows and arrows. So this sign, or this has a specific sign. What is this a sign of? And is this bigger diamond ring, is that the same sign? Or are they different signs? of course, it's the role of advertisers to differentiate similar products from one another, but they do this by associating a product with a specific set of social values. So in certain semiotic terms, they're creating a distinct signified for it. This particular printed advertisement comes, with Charlize Theron in a photogenic 3/4 body shot, and superimposed on the lower left-hand portion of the advertisement is the image of the bottle of the perfume. Large letters, the name of the perfume is repeated in its distinctive typographical style. So think about the signifier here, the bottle of the perfume, the beautiful actress, the typeface, the color. The signified would be, the chic, sophistication, elegance, beauty, glamour. What is amplifying this, and how is it, what's, really representing this? The signifier and signified combined constitute a sign which offers us the meaning that Dior is beauty, represents beauty, it represents elegance. And note that just because a signifier resembles that which it depicts does not always or necessarily make it purely iconic. Pierce stated that although a painting may be perceived as looking like what it represents, it's largely conventional in its own mode of representation. So it's in this way the symbolic is as well as iconic. And a photograph is also perceived to be resembling that which it depicts. So Pierce noted that a photograph is not only iconic, but it can also be indexical. Think about the composition, the focusing, the lighting, the developing of the picture. So a sign can be an icon, it can be a symbol and an index, or any combination. If we look at our school map for the University of Mississippi, we've got an indication of where places are, which is indexical. We've got the representation of places in a topographical relation to one another. So that's iconic, and its notational system has to be learned. We have to know how to read this map. So that's the symbolic. Same can go for film and television as well. The icon would be the sound and the image. The symbol would be like the writing and the speech. And the index would be the effects, which is fairly arbitrary, but such as the dissolves and things like that.